Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. Now we have some very interesting things going on with the market right now. We obviously experienced a bit of a pullback, but we're now holding our ground pretty well and relatively mixed today. Not that much going on as far as the actual price action is concerned. Basically just putting in a bit more of a base. But we have some interesting developments and news pieces that are really worth mentioning here. So I'm going to get to that in just a second. And I will be covering EOS as well in today's technical analysis because it's definitely making headlines. And it's been the case actually for several weeks now. So I will be adding it to every single daily crypto update very soon. But don't forget to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. And let's get right into these news pieces, starting off with EOS. So first of all, EOS is completing its ICO and it has raised $4 billion without a working product. Some people, have an issue with that. I haven't fully formed an opinion personally, but what is important to understand is that EOS is definitely making some big moves in the crypto space, and although it is, controversial in a way, it's something that you have to pay attention to, right? Because I do think that it will continue to be important in the crypto market and a growing crypto throughout this year. So I really think it's going to make even more of a name for itself, despite the controversy. And I personally have to do more research on it, but they do have some, accusations of dumping Ethereum. This has been going on for a while. They actually just recently sent $120 million worth of ETH to Bitfinex. And obviously here, a lot of accusations that Bitfinex is also involved in this and possible dumping and stuff. So, a lot going on, some good, some bad. It will be launching its mainnet, I believe, very soon, in June, I think. So, a lot of interesting developments and definitely one to keep an eye on. Other interesting news is that the CEO of Pantera Capital said that it's a very good time to buy Bitcoin. And obviously there is a little bit of bias here. Pantera Capital is one of the largest, if not the largest, cryptocurrency investment fund. But I think that what's important to realize with this is we're obviously in a bit of a bearish market. And I think a better word for that is a bit more of a cool down period, right? We had that huge amount of euphoria back in December, and it took some time to cool down from that. We have obviously dropped quite a bit. I think a lot of cryptocurrencies are down around 65 to 70% from their highs. And what that means is if you think about it on a longer term perspective, you obviously don't really want to be buying cryptocurrencies when they're at all-time highs, right? You're assuming much more risk and you're not necessarily getting in at good prices. So like the CEO of Pantera Capital said, time to buy crypto when it's cheap. And I'm personally of that opinion. Once again, not financial advice, just my personal opinion. But that's what I mentioned a few days ago, right? Is to get in kind of before the big wave comes in. And especially thinking about that institutional money, those big players, they're probably going to be buying in periods like this, right? Where there's not too many eyes on it. Things are kind of, still being suppressed in a way. And to really load up their positions to catch that big wave, and they want to get in while it's cheap, right? Especially to benefit over the long term. Now, moving forward, we're going to take a look at the technicals here, starting off with EOS. We are out of our downtrend in the short term, and we're now back to uptrending. It does look like we could lose our uptrend line if we don't get a bounce here, and at that point, I think we just enter, a bit of a range between 14,000 and 17,000 Satoshis. But either way, I think we're going to manage to hold up pretty decently here unless some huge drama comes around. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin, see what's going on. So going to go over to the Coinbase chart here. Bitcoin actually holding up pretty well. We're moving slightly higher. Indicators coming back. Now what I mentioned yesterday is that we have a lot of resistance at around $8,000. And I think that it might be a little bit hard to get back above that just yet, on our first attempt. So it could take several attempts before we do end up getting back above $8,000. But at this point, it seems like we have put in a higher high compared to the, higher low compared to the low back here, right? I'll go ahead and put in this new uptrend line. And that's significant for a couple of reasons, but What it comes down to is, at this point, I think that we have most likely avoided any kind of bigger drop. If we do end up dropping lower, I feel like it'd be pretty controlled and pretty minor. So from here, I think that we'll manage to, hold our ground and, just keep pushing higher, at least in this little channel that we're in right now. Or, if we're able to get back in this bigger channel, that would be ideal. But either way, it looks like the path is upward here, slowly but surely over the next few weeks. We should be able to climb higher, hopefully back towards $9,000. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum next, see what's going on. So Ethereum is also in a pretty similar position. It has a little bit more space to move, I think. Now we have a little bit of a Doji candlestick here, which means that, we might start to pull back a bit or just flatten out. But we could make a little bit of a jump to our middle band, which is at around $630. So we'll see. We haven't yet tested again $600. Have to see how we act around that level. But I think that we're going to manage, to remain where we are now at the very least, right? So around $580. Let's go ahead and take a look at Litecoin. Actually looking a little bit more bullish today, which is good. So nice little green candlestick. Coming back up nicely on the indicators, about to get a positive crossover on the MACD and the histogram. If that does happen, that's even better. And we are coming up on that middle band, which will act as some resistance. So I think that once we reach that level, we're probably going to flatten out a little bit. But it definitely seems like we're not going to be crashing lower. And if we do end up seeing a drop for Litecoin, what's good is that we have a lot of support with this longer term uptrend line and just this $100 area. There is a lot of support. So hopefully we won't go that low, but if it does happen, at least there is a strong chance of a bounce. Let's take a look at Nano next, see what's going on. Nano, very flat. You can see it's been a few days now. We've really just been hanging around 50,000 Satoshis. I do expect that to continue for a bit longer. And then, as soon as we make a clear break above 55,000 Satoshis that hold, we'll probably be able to start moving back towards 60,000 Satoshis. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ripple, which has been, a little bit undercover, but nonetheless important to pay attention to, as it is still the third biggest cryptocurrency out there. And right now we're coming up on that 65-cent resistance level. That's where our middle band is at, so definitely a lot of resistance there. I think that we will end up, reaching that level here within the next few days, and then just hanging right around that level, basically kind of consolidating right on it, right? A little bit above, a little bit below, as we bounce up and down right on top of it. And, we got that positive crossover on the MACD. We'll see if that happens on the histogram, but that does look likely at this point. Indicators definitely looking pretty bullish. I think that, just have to wait for the rest of the market to move higher. But I do think we'll manage to reach that 65-cent level, and that's, of course, a good thing. Once again, we put in a higher low compared to the low back here, so we even have a bit of an uptrend going on right now. I'll go ahead and draw that in. And as far as that downtrend line is concerned, we did, in fact, break out of that. So, beginning a slight uptrend here, that's a great sign, and it is the case for several cryptos out there, which is much better than the constant downward movement that we're experiencing over the past few weeks. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be, let's see, next up is going to be NEO, and take a look at what's going on. So NEO is actually looking quite bullish here. We got a positive crossover on all indicators, nice green candlestick here, moving back towards our middle band. I think we may even test that $60 mark again, and then probably consolidate, around this area. Once again, we'll have to wait for other cryptos, I think, to come back up a bit higher and really show more bullishness. But it definitely seems like we have avoided, any kind of bigger drop. We have this slight uptrend going on now, and the tide seems to have turned in the positive direction with this breakout above our downtrend line. So definitely looking decent here. Let's take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be, let's see, next up is Stellar Lumens, and we're going to take a look at what's happening. So going over to the Binance chart here, where I have all my previous lines drawn out, we can see that we're pulling back from that 4,000 Satoshi level. That's exactly what I mentioned yesterday, is we have to wait for other cryptocurrencies to kind of catch up here, because we got a really nice run up, but if the rest of the market isn't showing, the same amount of strength, we'll probably have to wait on that before we can move higher. And I think that's what's happening right now. So I don't think we're going to go, crashing lower or anything like that. I think that we'll stay probably around, probably a little bit above 3,800 Satoshis, and basically, remain pretty flat as we wait for a base to be put in, and then as soon as we get that break above 4,000 satoshis, that will be our bullish signals. Indicators now turning positive, and good volume as well over the past few days. Let's take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Vertcoin. Vertcoin moving, let's see, pretty bad long upper wick. So buyers weren't able to sustain those higher prices just yet, but we did get a lot of buying volume here, and I think that it's kind of the first indication that we will start moving higher slowly but surely again. We do have some resistance ahead, though. A lot of resistance around $2, kind of where our middle band is at, and then $2.20. So we do have to get through a couple resistance levels, and that's going to take a little bit of time, but we should be able to move higher from here, slowly but surely. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next crypto. That's going to be Lisk. See what's going on. So Lisk is trying to break out of its downtrend line. We're really pushing on top of it right now, and I think that we will manage to break out of this downtrend line here over the next day or two. And then, it's just going to be a move towards $10, I believe, where we'll probably face a bit of resistance. Maybe we'll even be able to get back above that, within the next month, and hopefully, just build in a bit of a base, start moving higher from there. We will definitely see a bit of consolidation here, I believe, though, nonetheless. And let's take a look at our next crypto, which is Cardano. Cardano looking not too bad, I believe, as of yesterday, and it actually was moving a little bit against the crowd, having some very strong green candlesticks. We're now pulling back. This is a pretty similar situation to Stellar Lumens in the sense that, it kind of got a bit of a lead compared to other cryptocurrencies. And, you have to kind of wait for the general market to be ready for this type of strength. So we came up at around 3,000 satoshis and kind of moved lower from there. Once again, don't think we're going to see any kind of crazy drop. We'll probably stay around this area, a little bit below 3,000 satoshis. But we're above our middle band, which is good. So definitely have some support here, and should be one of the cryptos to act stronger than others here over the next few weeks. Let's go ahead and take a look at IOTA. Pretty bullish yesterday. We had some good news, and that's continuing today. So as you can see, we actually made our way back above $1.91. This is very impressive. A lot of buying volume, huge jump on the indicators as well. And I feel like this is just, a kind of due to a pileup of good news pieces over the past few weeks, finally being represented on the price. Now, we are coming up on our upper Bollinger Band, but right now it looks like we may even be able to sustain, these higher prices, I think at least above $1.80. And if we're able to remain above $1.91, that's even better, right? If we're able to get back above $2, start moving higher from there, really a great sign. And overall, I think that IOTA is a little bit undersold here. But with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.